It was on this date 10 years ago that Barry Bonds hit number 756, and that made him the #1 home run hitter in the history of Major League Baseball. Put him one ahead of Henry Aaron, and Barry is up here in the booth with us. So as the Cubs come to bat here in the 3rd inning, we're going to have a chat with him here as Barry Bonds.
Hey, what's up, John? How you doing?
Hey, I'm well. It was fun to see that home run again. Your son Nikolai was there to meet you at home plate. He was a bat boy that night.
Yeah, it was awesome. My family's there, doing it at home. Nothing's better than doing it at home.
One of the first who came out afterward was your godfather, Willie Mays.
Yeah, that's right.
You had passed a little bit earlier on the home run list. 660 for the great Willie Mays, your godfather. And Willie said that he actually had a job that night. He was out there to congratulate you, of course, but he was really to keep you from going on the microphone. You know, they, I guess, had told you, says if you hit the home run, you're going to go on the microphone and speak to the fan. But they had a special presentation that was a surprise for you. The Henry Aaron himself had made a video to congratulate you on that home run.
Yeah, that's great. When you get those things from those kind of players that you looked up to as a young player and a young kid, it's a great honor. You know, Willie gave me my blessing, you know, to pass him and to keep on going. And once I got my godfather's blessing, I don't think anything was going to stop me at that time.
Well, talk about the batting practice session before that at bat, because we were talking about around the cage today. I thought it was pretty interesting.
Well, the day before, when I hit 755, I knew Hensley's he always floats his ball to the outside, and the ball always runs away from me. And I had Bochy throw to me for like a half hour out there, because Bochy's ball ran exactly like his ball did. And I told Bochy, you're going to throw to me until I can pin that ball to left field. And then I kept popping balls up, and I finally nailed it. And I says, I'm going to get him tonight, because he always likes to leave that ball like this far off the plate. And I'm going to hit that ball to left field. So that's what started, and it got my shoulder back in there lined up. So that made the one that night better.
So the trip around the bags, and you finally did what nobody thought anybody could do, and you did it. What was that like? What was going through your mind as you circled the bases?
Mike, a lot of emotions. The hard work that I put in, my father, Willie, the teaching that I've gone through, you know, John Yendo pitching to me every single day, working me hard. You know, just over the years, you know, going back, thinking, coming in the league with Jim Leland and Bill Verdon kicking my butt out in the outfield and, you know, playing against so many people, had the opportunity, Nolan Ryan. I mean, so many emotions went through my mind at that time of just all the years and of all the work and everything that was put into it.
John Jay, after a leadoff single, goes to second on a wild pitch with Bryant at the plate here. Barry Bonds, who on this date 10 years ago hit his 756th home run to put him one ahead of Henry Aaron. Did you have any inkling that Henry Aaron had recorded this video to congratulate you and before the crowd and before the whole country that night?
No, I had no idea. And Michael Jordan had one, and everyone was coming up with the videos on each thing. I was just blown away by it. And I was just so happy it happened at home. You know, I was just so happy that everything played perfect to being here in San Francisco, where I was raised and where I got to see the Giants as a little boy, and it just was perfect. It couldn't have been any better.
10 years ago tonight, Mike Bassick was the name of the left-hander with the Washington Nationals who threw the pitch, and his dad had been a pitcher when your dad played in the big leagues, and your dad faced his dad on at least one occasion, and I think a few times more than that.
Yeah, exactly. And Mike came in the locker room after. Bud Selig called me up and congratulated me and everything in the locker room. And then, you know, Mike came in there, right, and he sat there and said, I wasn't going to give in to you. It was just, you were going to do it. I was going to strike you out, and it's been an honor to play against you. My dad got to play against your dad. I got to pitch against you, and, you know, I don't feel ashamed by what happened. I wanted to go after you. I did it, and you got it. Congratulations.
That's pretty extraordinary too. The pitcher who gave up the home run coming over and seeking you out
he came
to congratulate you.
He came in the locker room. It was great. It was awesome. I mean, we might be, you know, warriors on the field, but off the field we all pretty good with each other.
When he took me deep, I didn't go to the clubhouse after the game.
Oh no! When Barry's dad, Bobby Bonds.
No, when Barry
No?
took me deep, I didn't go over and say congratulations to him.
He always had a chip on his shoulder.
You took Kruko deep, did you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you
He
remember
likes
that?
to throw that split all the time, so I knew it was coming because that was, Roger Craig era. Everyone throw a split.
Oh, he
split,
knew
split.
what was coming, Mike.
Unbelievable.
But he got me quite a bit on that high fastball because he always threw that high fastball. He was going to throw a split. And it was hard to catch up to Mike's high fastball at that time. I was just a young little pup at that time. But.
Oh. Bryant drilled by that one. And so now 2 men on with Anthony Rizzo coming up. So Barry, that night, I always think back to that night in the Henry Aaron comments on the video, because he had been the home run king for 31 years.
Right.
And he referenced that in his comments to you, congratulating you and saying, I was the home run king for 31 years, and I move over now. You're the home run king, Barry. And I think he had some words of advice or wisdom about using it well and maybe helping people, things like that, with that kind of status. So, but it kind of was the ultimate, I think, accompaniment to the record-setting moment.
Yeah, you really can't explain it to people how you feel when someone of that stature congratulates you and he's willing to pass that torch over to you. And it's really hard because the emotions that you go inside, tears that are inside your body, just everything that you've gone through throughout your career, the good times, the bad times. And for Hank Aaron as African American and for us African American ball players, we look up to that a lot, and it means a lot to all of us. And for him to do that for me at that time in that moment was really special.
10 years ago tonight, right here in this ballpark, as Anthony Rizzo bats against Matt Moore, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike.
Well, do you think anybody will ever hit more home runs than you did?
I hope so. So I come back down here and congratulate him. I mean, that's what baseball's about. I mean, I hope it does happen. That's what brings fans to the stadium is excitement. And why not have someone else come along? I hope he's in a giant uniform and not in another uniform. But I hope so. I hope someone breaks other records. Break the single season record. And I hope I get to be a part of that.
Do you think it's more likely that they would break your total record for home runs or your single season record for home runs?
Well, don't they like most of these guys have 30 home runs this year? It's kind of hard, Mike, to think. There's more. I think that we're going to have the record for the most home runs hit are guys with the most home runs this
collectively
year.
Around
collectively,
baseball.
So, and the ballparks are smaller.
This is Span all the way out at the wall. Jay tags from second, goes to third, and Bryant, who had gone halfway, returns to first on a deep fly ball out by Rizzo.
Well, Barry, we should ask you that. I mean, baseball is on a pace around all 30 teams that Major League Baseball is going to hit more home runs than have ever been hit before. Do you have a reason as to why that is happening?
Because they don't have any specialist pitchers anymore. When I played, you had the Maddox that threw different speeds. Your closer threw 100. You had some guys that threw hard, some guys that were finesse pitchers. But up and down the whole pitching staff, everyone throws 95 miles an hour.
Every night.
You don't have there's no real adapting or adjustment. So the hitters are going to catch up to that. 95 is now going to be the new 85 because everyone throws the same speed. I wish they would come back with the Greg Maddux style finesse guys and, mix things up with different speeds of pitchers and stuff, because I think that's what's challenging as a hitter.
I mean, every team's got 5 or more guys coming out of the bullpen all throwing 95.
They all throw that. So as a hitter, what are you adapting to? Either the guy has a good slider but throws 95, or a guy may have a good changeup but he throws 95, or so you don't have to adapt that much as a hitter, and the hitters will catch up to that eventually. And so, a power pitcher's a power pitcher, Mike. You know it. They're always going to go to that one source, is power.
You need more Javier Lopez's.
Yes, I believe so. I think you need more of the guys that are finesse pitchers.
1-1 to Contreras as he bounces a foul. When you talk about the home run record, you finished with 762. Who would be your favorite? Not the guy that you would like to see do it, but of the guys currently playing, who do you think would be most capable of doing it? For instance, here with the Cubs, Chris Bryant is a young guy. who's hit quite a few home runs early on in his career.
Well, Chris Bryant, well, obviously he's got a talent and he hits for high average. It's going to be the guy who's going to be patient enough to take walks with that, and also.
Well, Moore did not get over to cover the plate in time, so it's a strikeout. But coming in to score in the play with some heads-up base running, John Jay, and it is 3-0 Cubs.
John Jay is a very good instinctive base runner. You have to anticipate this ball in the dirt. As this thing kicks away, Matt Moore did not break to come home. I mean, Buster throws a lob over home plate where Matt Moore should have been. He never gets there. I mean, he never even considered the runner at third. He looked over to the runner at first, and that cost him a run.
So now Zobrist with Bryant also moving up. We were talking about that ball is hit well by Zobrist, but there is Jarrett Parker. So you think maybe Bryant or the guy in New York, Judge?
Well, Judge definitely has an opportunity. He's a big, powerful, strong guy, but it's going to be the guy who has the most patience. To do that, you got to take your walks. And if you're not willing to take your walks, it's not going to happen. But you're going to have to take your walks and then capitalize on the opportunities that you get.
Barry,
it's a science behind it.
10 years ago tonight.
Thank you,
and,
guys.
many thanks for coming by. All right.